Hey everybody, this video is part of our full-length The Onside Kick podcast. You can find that on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes. You can pretty much find it anywhere, so we don't care where you listen. Just stick around and check it out.
But Mark, we got to move on into our next topic, and we are talking rookies here on the podcast. They have been drafted. We talked about some of them, their winners and losers.
Some of them have not been drafted.
Some of them have not been drafted. They were unsigned or signed free agents. They weren't unsigned free agents.
Well, some of them are unsigned free agents. They're still there. I'm technically an unsigned free agent.
So am I. Yeah. Apparently, Sean said it in the NBA. I'm technically a free agent in the NBA. So Chicago Bulls, I'm looking at you. I'm ready to suit up. But what we are looking at is rookies in the NFL that are going to have an instant impact on their team year one in 2017. They're not going to sit. They're going to be playing right away. You started off, my man. Yeah. Who are you going with? Who's your first one?
I want to say it's an obvious pick here because he's got to start week one, Deshaun Watson.
He's got it.
You can't put Savage above him. You just can't do it. Deshaun Watson is one of those guys who comes in as an instant leader. He will take over that locker room. This team was a great playoff team minus the quarterback. The only thing they were lacking was a quarterback. It is a scary defense that will punish opposing teams. They've got great weapons to throw the ball to, weapons that can run the ball. They just didn't have a quarterback. And Deshaun Watson is that kind of, he's going to be the leader. He's going to get people pumped. He's going to be able to throw the ball. He's going to run it. When we talked about this before, he was probably the guy who I said should be the first pick because he's the only one that was ready to start day one. And he walks into the perfect situation of his team probably should win their division and could potentially be walking into the playoffs with him as a rookie.
Well, and one of the things I'm looking at is SB Nation, their Texas blog of battleredblog.com. They even have it here as the headline, Tom Savage, I'm ready to play like I have to play to keep this job. Well, yeah, you have to play because Deshaun Watson's going to take this job from you. And the thing I look at is unless you are the Chiefs, who we talked about last week, Mahomes, he's going to sit. It's not even a probably. He is going to sit year one. Unless you're a Chiefs this year, unless you're a Packers when they took Aaron Rodgers, unless you're, I'm even going to throw the Bears in with Trubisky this year. Unless you have a guy that you're going to start, the Patriots when they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, when they drafted Ryan Mallett, when they got Matt Castle, when they had Brian Hoyer, basically anyone that they've drafted under Tom Brady. You're gonna sit a year if you have someone in front of you.
Of course.
Deshaun Watson doesn't have anybody because Tom Savage, I'm sorry, you're going to play like you. Where was this last year when the job was yours?
Yeah.
I don't want to see this now that you have a young rook behind you. And Deshaun Watson, I think that out of all the quarterbacks that we saw, the Trubisky's, the Mahomes, even the Kaiser, he was the one that most people were saying, I'd be confident with him day one. He is the guy that I'd be confident with day one.
Yeah, he's got stuff to work out. He's got some things he needs to fix.
All rookies have things to work on.
But he's a guy who can take over and he can win you a game. That's what it really comes down to.
The national championship game against a team that he lost to the year before.
And that people would, people always say, Alabama, that's as close to an NFL team as it gets.
No, it is an NFL team.
Pretty much. So
they could beat the Cleveland Browns. Remember that.
That's what we like to say, right?
Sorry, Cleveland.
I just think
what you did.
That I like what you guys did.
I like what you did in the draft.
I like your jib. This is the guy who I think day one makes a big impact. Ricky, let's hear it.
Before I get into mine, the last thing I did want to say about Deshaun Watson was it helps when you have good wide receivers, and having Hopkins, Fuller, and Strong is just going to be really good for him. My impact rookie, the first one that I have, is Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers made a splash by not only saying, hey, if he's available at 8. You knew he was going to be available at 8. Come on. Everybody did. But going out and getting this guy, and I think they are going to use him in unique ways to where he's going to be because of his speed, because of his versatility, he could be a matchup nightmare for some of these teams, not even in their division, but in the NFL, period. I think they are going to use Christian McCaffrey very sneaky. They're going to use him in the backfield. They're going to use him as a wide receiver. They're going to play him in different places to where if you are a defense, you better have a solid middle linebacker, kind of like Ray Lewis. I'm going to use him as the example. Or like Brian Urlacher, kind of the old guys that we've seen where it's like you're kind of looking and you're pointing things out and you're going, okay, watch him. He's over here. Somebody get on him. Because if you lose track of this guy, you lose track of the kid in Christian McCaffrey, he will make you pay. And this is one of the bright spots. Even though I'm not as high on the Panthers this season, I think Christian McCaffrey, with his speed and what he can bring to that offense, is going to be an instant impact from day one.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, this Panthers team is looking to get back to the old form. That's what we just talked about when we were talking about the NFC South. They want to get back to that, and part of that is having this great run game. And their run game was still good last year. That was one of the brighter spots on the team. But having McCaffrey here just kind of brings that different dimension.
And let's be honest, I mean, Jonathan Stewart can do it. He's going to be the guy that if you need a run up the middle, you're going to go with Stewart. But if you need kind of a pitch to the outside, if you're going to go screen pass, if you're going to kind of work to the outside, McCaffrey will be your guy because the thing I think they're going to do with McCaffrey, get him in open space. Get him in that open space so he can work with it and just use that speed, that toughness, that athleticism that he has to get down the field and make some defenses pay, especially, like I said, if they lose where he is on the field.
Yeah.
Who's your next one?
I have to go with this guy to flip to the other side of the ball. A guy who I would have loved for my favorite team, the Chicago Bears, to draft, Malik Hooker.
I thought you were going to steal mine.
No. Malik Hooker in Indianapolis, because here's the thing. Andrew Luck, I don't know if you've heard of this guy. He's a good quarterback. He knows how to throw the ball.
When the opposing team doesn't score a lot of points, they win a lot of games, or so I hear.
Yeah, that's typically what happens.
That's how you play football, right?
And this is why Malik Hooker is going to get a lot of action. Andrew Luck throws the ball a lot. And he scores touchdowns a lot, right? Well, he's throwing the touchdowns. So this team is going to put up numbers. And his defense has not typically been very good. Malik Hooker is going to be that center fielder out there, kind of, last line of defense, making sure that nobody gets past me. He's going to be the guy to go out there and command respect, to get those interceptions, to turn things around for this defense. That's why they went and they grabbed him, because he can do that. He can help turn this defense around, which has needed help for a long time.
I'm gonna take your safety actually, and I'm gonna match you. Why'd you stop with Malik Hooker? Jamal Adams is also going to be an impact rookie day one.
For sure.
I know he's drafted by the Jets, and if I'm one of the two safeties and I'm picking a team, I like Hooker with where he is because the Colts are a little bit closer to the playoffs and a little bit closer to winning that AFC South than the Jets are to A, making the playoffs, or B, winning the AFC East. They're probably the furthest away from that of any team. But I think both of these safeties, Hooker and Adams, are going to come in and make an impact on the team. With Hooker, it's like you said, he's going to be that last line of defense. The Colts needed, I was looking more on the pass rushing side, but let's be honest, in both of my mock drafts and most of my mock drafts, Malik Hooker was off the board by the top 10, rolled around. So he wasn't even that late into the draft for the Colts to even think about. It was a no-brainer to go and take him. And then if I look at the Jet side with Adams, clearly out of the two, I would take Adams over Hooker. He's to me, the leader. He's a guy that's going to be effective in the box and in coverage. And I'm looking at what Gil Brandt had to say about him, because Gil Brandt, unlike myself at NFL.com, he knows Adams' father, George, and he mentions how he goes, and I'm just going to read it. Jamal Adams is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life, but he's also a tough SOB, and that is going to be, like, reading that is going to be important for a football player, especially with where he's playing in New York. So I think both of the safeties are kind of going to be impact players right away for the Jets and the Colts.
Someone I want to mention that I don't think this is potential like rookie of the year or anything like that.
We're not getting a hot take from Mark Weber tonight?
No, but I think that this is the guy who is really going to be in the perfect situation to make that impact and get people talking. And it's the little brother. It's TJ Watt. I think that TJ Watt being on the Steelers is the perfect fit. You know, this linebacker, this pass rusher, whatever you're going to want to call him, he's the kind of guy where...
Having that mentality of his brother already.
Yeah, he wants to make a name for himself because he doesn't want to be little brother. He wants to be the better Watt in this family, and that's a tough thing to do. But he's going to want to go out there, and he's going to want to prove that he can do it. So... I think it's going to be very interesting to see him on that defense, which is a historic defense. You know, the Steelers are constantly known for being the tough guys out there, being the bruisers. And this is kind of part of them revitalizing, of course, that history and going out there and grabbing a guy with the name Watt, which is a pretty big household name in the NFL, that people are going to expect him to go out there and do good things. And like I said, we're not talking rookie of the year here, but he's going to go out there and make a big impact.
It's a nice fit, and especially for a team like the Steelers who have that pedigree. They already have. They're a team that's built, and they know their philosophy to where he can just step in, and he doesn't have to have the kind of, the pressure of the city on his shoulders.
He's got other guys around him that are helping out.
J.J. Watt was a different situation because Houston wasn't a good football team. Wasn't what they are now when they drafted J.J. Watt. So it's kind of a different situation in that sense. I'm going to go with our first offensive lineman, though. I'm going to go with my guy out of Minnesota in Pat Elflein. And the reason why is we need an offensive lineman in the baddest way. And this guy can either help us at the guard and the center. I think he's a tough lineman who's going to step in right away. He's going to make sure that Mark Weber over here is not making jokes anymore about Sam Bradford being injured.
I might make jokes.
He's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to keep Sam Bradford from getting injured, but also we got two running backs now that we need to block for. And one of the things, it was an older video we did, but we got comments on it recently, was when we talked about Latavius Murray coming over from Oakland to Minnesota. And I had mentioned the joke that, we stole him away from Oakland and that, they stole Cordell Patterson away from the Vikings. But really, those were just jokes. We didn't steal him. He just wanted to come over to Minnesota. And the one comment
I don't know why one would, but
the one comment was just one of the lines of, hey, you know what? Let's see how he does with that offensive line in Minnesota because he ain't going to have that line like he did when he was in Oakland. And I look at it and I go, yeah, your offensive line is better. But I look at this one. I look at Elflein and I go, hey, you know what? He's a guy out of Ohio State that can step in and make sure he's not only an impact rookie from day one, but the guy we drafted ahead of him in Dalvin Cook is also an impact rookie behind Latavius Murray from day one.
I only got one more guy I want to mention. I don't want to talk about him too much, but I'm interested in Cleveland because we mentioned Cleveland before. Deshaun Kaiser. He was the unloved.
You think he's going to be an impact from day one?
From day one, probably not. I don't necessarily think he will win that starting job right away. I for sure think he's going to be starting at some point this season because it's Cleveland, but he's got a real shot. Because this is just a mess of a quarterback battle, as it always is in Cleveland. And he's got a real shot to start day one. And he could be the Derek Carr surprise. You know, he could be the Russell Wilson surprise if nobody thought he was actually going to be there day one. But here he is. And he's going to play. And Cleveland has enough to where he can do well and not suck. But they're not gonna light anybody's fire out there.
Let's be honest. The one guy that we don't even have to mention, but I will anyways, it's going to be an impact rookie who's in Cleveland is Myles Garrett.
Yeah, but that was the given.
But when you go number one, you should be an impact rookie, right? That's how it should go.
There's no surprise.
Unless you're a quarterback that has a guy in front of you. I don't know why you would have that, though, if you were at the top of the draft. I actually have two more that I just want to give some love to. The first one is he's a guy early on I had mocked to the team he got drafted to. As the mock draft process went on, I went away from it and went more towards need, especially with the safeties. But Leonard Fournette in Jacksonville, I think he's going to have a good year this year. I think he's going to, win the job from TJ Yeldon. TJ Yeldon will be an afterthought, and he will be the backup. But Leonard Fournette will be able to give Blake Bortles, in a crucial year for Blakey, the teenage ninja Bortle, he's going to give him some support behind the line of scrimmage so that he can take some pressure off of pass rushing so that he can get the ball to those talented wide receivers that he does have. And then just the last one I wanted to mention was Mike Williams. And the reason why is this to me is a tricky situation, because I think if Keenan Allen stays healthy, he'll still have an impact rookie season, kind of taking some pressure off of Keenan Allen, will become the number 2 wide receiver in L.A. I almost said San Diego, in L.A. But the thing that I'm kind of thinking of is, I mean, I don't want to see it happen, but I'm going to put my money on Keenan Allen might get hurt again. It's been, 2 straight seasons he's been hurt?
It wouldn't be surprising.
And they were like season-ending injuries. It wasn't like, he was out for a little bit. It was, you done. You done for the year. So I'm putting my money maybe on that happening again. And if it does, bingo, Mike Williams becomes your number 1 wide receiver, and he'll have to step up and become that impact rookie for the Chargers in lieu of an injury. But really, I hope that doesn't happen. Still as a number 2, he'll be able to make his presence felt for a Phillip Rivers that the Chargers are trying to keep happy because they don't want him to retire or kind of do the Carson Palmer, I'm going to retire, bye guys. Oh, wait, I'm going to go to another team after I've been retired. Yeah. So is there any more that you think we should mention? I got to just throw O.J. Howard out there because we talked about him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of these guys who are like obvious ones. Sure, they will definitely make impacts to their team. No, I mean, it's just I'll be reading what people say down below.
I've got an interesting comment that I saw today while I was looking at either on Fox or ESPN. I can't remember which one. I want to just get your quick hits on it. It was along the lines of the 49ers wouldn't be upset if it takes Reuben Foster, like if he sits the entire year and isn't able to play. Do you think Reuben Foster, with where they drafted him at 31, has to play this season and have an impact year for the Niners?
I don't think so. The guy who needs to have an impact is Solomon Thomas. He's the guy they drafted 3.
They drafted him I almost said 2.
Nope, it was 3.
Forgot about that trade.
Either way, he's still got to be an impact player. Foster can kind of have that little bit of a looser expectations. Solomon Thomas has got to come in and kick some ass. And he's also got to shut up the people like me who think, 3 was a little high for Solomon Thomas.
And I found the article. It was actually the headline of Kyle Shanahan said it. He said, worst case scenario is that Reuben Foster misses the entire season for the 49ers. So I wanted to throw that out there because there's a possibility that he is not going to be able to be that impact rookie. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below who are some of your impact rookies that you feel are going to be a solid contributor to their NFL teams, their rookie season in 2017. Let us know down below in the comment section.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't worry, there is plenty more where that came from. You guys can check it out right over here. Click that video, start watching it, and just stick around on Most Valuable Podcasts.